This is a frog with a biological invisibility cloak. It lives in Central and South America and uses its powers to vanish in plain sight. Deep in the jungle, avoiding vicious hunters is a matter of life and death. But how does it work? How can a vertebrate be see-through? Where's the skin? Where's the flesh? Where are the organs? And how did it evolve to be like this? This is the glass frog. Hi, I'm Danielle Dufault, and you're watching Animalogic. Unlike me, glass frogs don't need fancy editing. They've evolved invisibility all on their own. So who are these little see-through cuties? And what is the secret to their superpowers? There's around 160 species of glass frogs, found mostly in South and Central America, from southern Mexico to northern Argentina. They're tiny, barely longer than a coin, delicate, and light enough to balance on your fingertip. And according to my own personal research, they might just be the cutest amphibians on Earth. Sorry, Kermit. But wait, it goes deeper than that. They even have their own Kermit. Speaking of Muppets, this species, the Hyalinobatrachium dianae, is often nicknamed the Kermit frog. I kinda get Miss Piggy's point of view now. What we do know about them is that their populations, like many other amphibians around the world, are shrinking. But even animals with huge populations are a huge concern too. In the US, there are close to 10 billion farm animals, and over 99% of them are raised on factory farms. That's where FarmKind, the sponsor for today's episode, comes in. While diet change is a great way to help these animals, it's not always accessible or realistic for most people. And the responsibility shouldn't be on the individual, but rather on the corporations putting these animals through inhumane conditions to maximize profit. A better way to reduce this suffering is to support the charities that are doing the work to end factory farming. But finding charities that actually have an impact isn't easy. That's why I use FarmKind. They conduct thousands of hours of expert research to find charities with real, proven results, so your donation actually makes a difference. And they are fully grant-funded, so they never take a cut of your donation. Every dollar goes straight to the charities, freeing animals from cages, crates, and cruelty. Even $15 a month can help protect nearly 350 animals a year, pushing for changes that end extreme confinement, painful procedures, and inhumane slaughter practices. If you'd like to donate even just a small amount, check out the link in the description. And if you use my code Animalogic, your donation will get a 50% boost from pledges by large donors. So check them out. I'm sure you'll be impressed. A world with kinder farm animal treatment and better environmental practices protects all wildlife around it, including glass frogs. I have to say, as special as Kermit is, these frogs have crashed through the glass ceiling and made themselves candidates for the most amazing amphibian alive. And they've done it without moving a muscle. Glass frogs spend most of the daylight hours motionless, hiding from predators below and pressing their transparent bellies flat against leaves high in the canopy. Holding perfectly still, they pull off a jaw-dropping disappearing act. Now you see me, now you don't. And here's the part that still blows biologists' minds. This isn't just thin skin or clever patterning. It's a full-body optical illusion built from the inside out. By hiding nearly 90% of the red blood cells out of circulation, they erase the giveaway red tint of their circulatory system. The blood gets stashed inside their liver, which is covered by a layer of reflective crystals that hides them completely. Yes, crystals. The crystals are kind of like tiny mirror scales on a disco ball, bouncing light back so nothing from inside shines through. Instead of lighting up a dance floor, they're saving the frog's life. Camouflage by sparkle. This is a brand new discovery, so we asked the team that figured it out to tell us all about it.
What shocked us is that the heart was still pumping at a normal rate, at certain beats per minute. Everything seemed to be like physiologically normal, but the fluid was not red. There was the first start when we started wondering, what's going on with this heart? How is it possible the heart is pumping and there's no red blood cells in the blood? When we started investigating that, and we found that the blood was in the liver, that essentially was shocking. Such a nice story to learn from the natural history of this frog that we had started investigating many years ago.
So what really happens to those frogs is a mystery for a long time. And then that comes to the collaboration between me and Carlos. And Carlos is a biologist. He has this question to ask, right? How does the frog become more transparent? And I have this technology to help him to answer that question. And when the light is absorbed by the blood, and the red blood cells make the sound signals, and we listen to the sound waves. And what we really see or listen to, first of all, is the structure of the blood vessels, because blood vessels is made of millions and millions of red blood cells. So we can have three-dimensional map of the red blood cells when they're flowing in the blood vessels.
In short, they figured out that to understand the inner workings of an invisible animal, the best way to go about it is to listen to it. So why did glass frogs evolve this way? And why don't all frogs do it? Most frog species chose other defenses: toxic skin, warning colors, or camouflage patterns. Glass frogs, on the other hand, had no real weapons. They're tiny, fragile, and don't have the poison of many of their cousins. Instead, they evolved to vanish. Glass frogs live high up in the canopy, and most of their predators stalk them from below. Their transparent belly acts as a disappearing act, allowing them to perch on translucent leaves almost undetected. Some species of glass frog, like Cochranella or Nymphargus, are only partially transparent. We don't know for sure why, but it seems that being semi-transparent was good enough to help them survive. One thing is as clear as glass. Our froggy buddies have hit the camouflage jackpot. But they're not alone in using this strategy. Transparency is one of the dominant camouflage strategies of aquatic animals, like jellyfish and siphonophores. They've adapted to camouflage into the ocean backdrop. Most species are colorless and transparent, making them difficult for predators to find. The reflective crystals that line the glass frog's stomachs are similar to those that chameleons have in their scales to bend and reflect light, shifting their colors to adapt to their surroundings. But glass frogs are in a class of their own. They're the only known vertebrate to combine both methods: transparent skin and internal reflective crystals that make them essentially vanish from sight. It's one of evolution's boldest camouflage experiments, and it still stuns scientists today.
The crystal is a thin layer, like 100 micrometer structure. Because the liver is still filled with blood, and they actually can be visible if you look at the liver itself. So the frogs have another layer of a crystal, which is highly reflective of light. It covers the liver region. Basically, the liver is protected by that armor that helps the frogs to become more transparent. So they do have a second layer of protection there. And that reflective layer of crystal, we're also studying that it's probably more than just protecting the liver. It has something else to do with the transparency, more than just the liver.
Okay, hiding your blood is cool, but red blood cells are the delivery trucks that haul oxygen to every corner of the body. In glass frogs, when almost all of those trucks vanish from the road every single day, you'd expect the entire city to grind to a halt. On paper, the frogs should be dead, or at the very least, they should have tissue damage. Their entire vascular system is running on empty, and yet, there they are, perfectly fine and perfectly invisible. Scientists don't have the full answer yet, but they're coming up with some fascinating theories. New research shows that the frog's heart keeps beating even while the red blood cells are locked away in the liver.
Our thoughts right now is that either these animals have a different carrier in their plasma that might bind oxygen as well, that is an alternative to hemoglobin in red blood cells, and is potentially less colorful, that it absorbs a smaller amount of light, or that they have mechanisms that they increase oxygen diffusion. So those mechanisms could be, for example, proteins in certain parts of their skin that essentially accelerate oxygen transport through the skin and into the blood plasma. So those are the current active areas of research. So we don't have a definite answer, but we have some hints.
Whatever the answer might be, it's a very effective technique. Glass frogs spend around 10 hours each day sleeping in this transparent state without any negative effects. They're so hard to see that scientists sometimes mark leaves with fluorescent tags the night before, just to locate them. But if something startles them, they can snap out of their invisible state almost instantly. Blood surges back into their veins, oxygen fills their muscles, and they leap away in seconds. That wake-up call? Now that's the kind of up and atom I've been aspiring to. Forget the old alarm clock across the room trick, or a splash of cold water on your face. Turns out the real secret to a morning rise and shine is a massive blast of 90% of your blood whooshing into your vessels all at once. Honestly, they should patent that. And sure, the invisibility thing is cool, but these adorable amphibians are so much more than a cool superpower. By night, the switch flips, and the frogs come alive and show some equally awesome behaviors. They're looking for insects and spiders, and when they find them, their tongues snap out like lightning. For the males, night isn't just about feeding, it's also about calling loudly from leaves, hoping to catch the attention of a mate. Once a female arrives, the real work begins. Eggs to fertilize, and in many species, a long stretch of fatherly duties ahead. When the females arrive, the eggs get laid on leaves dangling over streams. And in most species in the glass frog world, it's daddy daycare all the way. The males stick around, hydrating the eggs, guarding them from hungry predators like carnivorous wasps, snakes, and other frogs, and generally running the night shift. Forget helicopter moms. These are glass helicopter dads, hovering over every clutch. And when the tadpoles finally hatch, the babies parachute right off the leaf into the stream below. No baby steps for these little guys. It's a rude awakening, but also crucial practice for life in the canopy. Timing is everything. Most species sync their egg laying with the rainy season, when the waters run fast. Many of those eggs will never hatch, but for the tadpoles, that plunge is a daring gamble with the best odds. Fast currents sweep them past predators and launch them into adult life. It's like those rapids rides at the amusement park, tossed into a spinning raft and swept through chaos. But instead of hoping for cotton candy at the end, these frogs are just hoping to survive long enough to grow up, mate, and start the whole process all over again. As they grow, they gain their invisibility powers. As kids, they're as dark as your average pond tadpole. Unfortunately, like so many Central and South American species, and species worldwide, glass frogs are caught in a squeeze. Shrinking forests, polluted streams, and disease are steadily eroding their numbers. Many species are now at risk, like Centrolinae geckoidea, which is critically endangered and found only in Colombia and Ecuador, or the Nymphargus anomalus, an endangered species endemic to Ecuador.
There's a recent work published on Nature is the most species we're losing right now on the planet Earth is frogs. So basically we lose them faster than other species, other animals, because of their super sensitive to the environment, temperature included.
Any changes in temperature, water quality, or even available sun and shade can affect them. So their conservation requires a lot of research and protective measures. But for tiny frogs like these, that can be a pretty tough thing to do. We've talked about how tiny, secretive, and even invisible glass frogs are, so it's no surprise that they're very difficult to spot in the wild. These days, your best chance of seeing one might actually be in an exotic pet store. But conservationists worry about the illegal pet trade, where frogs are taken straight out of the rainforest, smuggled into stores, and then put into people's homes. They're delicate animals, and the journey is one that many don't survive. It's always important to do your research before bringing home any new pet, but especially when there's a risk it was taken from the wild. And even if they are captive bred, glass frogs are some of the toughest amphibians to care for. Not exactly a pet for beginners. They'll require you to bring the rainforest right into your house. Constant misting, live plants, flowing water, and humidity levels that are tricky to recreate and maintain. All of that adds up, not just in mental load, but in dollars. Even after you've built the high-tech spa they need to survive, each frog can cost you hundreds of dollars. And after all that effort, you won't get a hug, or even a touch in return. These little guys are far too delicate to be handled. How's that for a thank you for your service? If you really want to be up close with a frog, try to get out to your nearest stream and see the frogs in your area. And even better, join a frog conservation group to protect them. Sometimes, the most astonishing things in nature aren't the ones that roar or shine, they're the ones that disappear completely, right before our eyes. But in the case of the glass frog, we're still fighting so that they don't disappear forever. So, what should we talk about next? Please let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for new episodes every week. Thanks for watching. I'll see you around. Don't forget to check out FarmKind to help us improve the lives of millions of farm animals. You can make a huge difference.